Last year, the matchup between Louisville and Wake Forest yielded a historic day for the Demon Deacons as wide receiver Greg Dortch outdueled Lamar Jackson. Dortch has set the Wake Forest record. Today, in the first half of our ACC doubleheader, two struggling teams try to get their first ACC win in an Atlantic Division showdown. Wake Forest and Louisville, next. Welcome you to ACC football, presented by your local Ford dealer. It's homecoming Saturday in Louisville, Kentucky, and the Wake Forest Demon Deacons are in town. The Deeks and the Cardinals both looking for their first ACC win of the year on an overcast Saturday, the last October Saturday of 2018 here in the Derby City. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Evan Lepler. It's great to have you with us. A year ago, both these schools won 8 games, went to bowls, had what you would say successful seasons. Of course, things have changed. Lamar Jackson, John Wolford are gone. Dave Clawson and Bobby Petrino have tried to stay positive through the adversity, trying to keep the right mindset to springboard their team in the month of November. Guy with the right athletic mindset, Brian Jordan, played parts of 18 years in the NFL and Major League Baseball. What kind of mindset you expect these teams to have to take into this game today?
Well, both teams are in the same boat, and it's like my favorite movie, Lion King, when Pumbaa told Simba, you gotta put the past in the past. And both teams are telling their ball clubs, hey, forget about what happened early in the season. Let's go out here, execute one play at a time, do the game plan, and good things will happen.
A year ago, Wake Forest beat Louisville for the first time in school history, and it really was a turning point game for the Deeks and for this guy, then a freshman, now a sophomore, our hardy star to watch, the electric Greg Dortch.
What a terrific player, and you better believe Louisville this year will know where he is at all times. Last year, Louisville's defense just struggled with Greg Dortch. Here, it's no way you leave him wide open on a skinny post across the middle, the weak side safety, failed to be in position, an easy score. How can we get the ball to Greg Dortch? Here, 3 receivers in front of him, a bubble screen to Dortch, and that's all it takes. Get the ball in his hands. One cut, see you later.
Remember, he scored 4 touchdowns last year. He could have had 5 if he didn't fumble one out the back of the end zone. On the other side, Louisville, Jawan Pass, the quarterback, has had, to say the least, a turbulent season. However, there are going to be some plays out there for him to make today.
Well, first you got to leave him in the ball game, and he has to take care of the ball. Got to throw the ball down the field against a defense of Wake Forest. So he can pick this zone apart because you know they not going to have a complicated defense. It's going to be fun to watch.
Well, this Wake Forest defense has had a trying season as well. They haven't known who's going to be in the lineup week to week. For more on that, down on the field, the third member of our broadcast team. Good afternoon, Kelsey Winger.
Hey, Evan. Yeah, you know, you guys are talking about the defensive struggles of Wake Forest. Now, this all started earlier in this season. They had to fire their defensive coordinator after the Notre Dame game. That's the first time in 19 seasons for Dave Clawson as a head coach that he fired a coordinator in the middle of the season. And then you look at injuries. If you go back to last week, out of 7 scholarship linebackers, 6 of them were down. Now, this forced Wake Forest to move backup safety Luke Masterson to linebacker, not only for the first time ever in that position, but making his first ever career start. When we were talking to Lyle Hempfield, he coaches safeties. He told us Masterson comes in on his own every night until 9 or 10, watching film, going through the steps, getting those reps in. Wake Forest tried to keep it simple. Today, guys, they'll try to add some complexity now that he has some experience under his belt.
I don't care who you are. It is tough to go out there with just 2 days learning a new position and perform well. And believe me, that handicapped the defense of Wake Forest.
We knew coming into today that probably Louisville would receive the opening kick because Bobby Petrino almost always chooses to receive. Dave Clawson almost always chooses to defer. Louisville won the toss, and the Cardinals have the opening kickoff, and they'll start from the 25-yard line. Key all week for the Cardinals. Can they take care of the football against this Demon Deacon defense that'll be hunting for turnovers?
Well, you know, if you look at Pumbaa, he's going to have confidence and know that if I make a mistake, I'm staying in this game. And that's Bobby Petrino's job, to let him know that he is the starting quarterback, leave him alone, and believe me, if he gets comfortable, he can take advantage of this Wake Forest defense.
The true freshman from Atlanta, Hassan Hall, standing behind the redshirt sophomore quarterback Jawan Pass, who looks to throw in the game's opening play. Lofts it high, and pretty good defense on the perimeter from Amari Henderson, 2nd and 10.
Wow, that ball did not come out of his hand right. That was almost like a duck being thrown. Pretty dangerous, and you don't want to make that mistake, because Isang will come up and turn this ball around and score easy.
We haven't talked about the conditions. It's overcast and it's chilly, and that could certainly impact how the ball comes out of the QB's hand.
Well, I'm quite sure both of these quarterbacks are prepared for the cold weather.
First give of the game to Hall, and he's got big yards. First down carry for the freshman, 14 yards on the play.
Well, we talked about the struggles of the offensive line, but man, boy, did those big guys up front open this hole up. And Hall, we talk about the great speed. He hasn't had an opportunity to break open, but that was a pretty good start for Hassan.
Tackle made by Justin Sternad, who a week ago was the Deacs' only scholarship linebacker who is healthy. Swing to the perimeter for Dawkins, and he'll be ushered out of bounds after a pickup of 5 to the 44. Chuck Wade Jr. gets credit for the stop.
That's a pretty good safe play for Puma. Getting his feet wet after that first throw. Good catch by Dawkins.
When you watch this Wake Forest defense against Florida State last week, they got off to a good start. They just couldn't sustain it. How do they complicate things today to try to frustrate the Cardinals?
Well, it's tough. When you don't have a lot of depth playing, you know, those guys tire out, and that's exactly what happened to Florida State. And you had to play conservative because you got a new linebacker who just moved in, learned 2 days how to play linebacker. That's tough to do.
In a tough year for the Wake defense, Carlos Basham, Zeke Rodney have been bright spots, and they combined for the stop. Loss of 2 on the play brings us our first 3rd down of the day. It has not been a good season for the Cardinals on opening drives. They have not scored on their first drive of the first half all season. And this is going to be a yard shy, I think, of the marker. Amari Henderson makes the stop. Interesting decision here. 4th and about 1 yard.
Why not? You got nothing to lose. Go for it. Good play by Amari Henderson. As soon as the receiver caught the ball, he was right there to make the short tackle.
You like this decision? 2 minutes into the game?
Hey, your message all week long was forget about the pass. Let's go ahead. Take it one play at a time.
Trey Smith has the first down and more. Smith gone. 52-yard touchdown for the Cardinals.
Great job by the big guys up front. We continue to talk about this offensive line struggling. 2 weeks ago, that bye week must have changed some things, Evan.
Blanton Creaky, the Luke Rosa semifinalist from a year ago, trying to make it 7-0. And for the first time in 2018, Bobby Petrino's team scores on its opening possession, something they did in their first 5 games of the season last year.
Well, that's a good message to his ball club. 4th and 1, you go for it early in the ball game, and you benefit from it. 6 points right here with Trey Smith going the distance. Right now, the Louisville players on that sideline saying, we're pretty confident. Look at that clear out block. A massive hole for Trey Smith.
Second touchdown of the year for Smith. His previous long run of the season before that was 15 yards.
Wow. Wow. So, what a great sign.
And for the other sideline, Dave Clawson has to be thinking more of the same. It's the chunk plays that have absolutely demoralized the Demon Deacons.
They've given up a lot of big plays this year. And what can you say, man? The defense is really struggling to Wake Forest. Opportunity for Greg Dortch from his own 2-yard line.
And he will get stuffed shy of the 20. Dortch finally wrestled to the ground and some extracurricular activity. There's a contentious rivalry between these two schools, which takes us to our Ford keys to the game. It's a game that both these schools really want to win. What's important?
Well, you know what, Sam Hartman hasn't had the outside receivers healthy this year, so he hasn't had a lot of big plays down the field. He needs that to happen early in the game to open up the field for Greg Dortch.
For Louisville, we talked about turnovers already, worst in the ACC in differential. Matt Colburn, the once Louisville commit. Story off told, scholarship pulled about 48 hours before signing day. Found a home at Wake Forest on the verge of the top 10 in school history in rushing yards, over 2,000. Second play from scrimmage is Sam Hartman, the freshman quarterback, out to the 28-yard line. Tackled by D. Smith. It'll be 3rd and 1 for this Wake offense that really hurries to the line.
It's going to be a struggle for this defense of Louisville, making some adjustments.
Hartman tries to find a hole. It wasn't a big one, but it was enough. Michael Boykin brings him down, but he picks up 2 to move the chains. There's Brian Van Gorder, the defensive coordinator. You could tell he was a little nervous about the tempo that his players were going to have to handle today.
Well, he knew it was going to be tough for those guys to get in position with the offense just coming up to the line, making calls and keeping it fast.
First catch of the day for Scotty Washington, just his 7th catch of the year. He had 6 catches for 133 yards last year against the Cardinals. Remember, first play from scrimmage last year was a 45-yard pass, and here's a shot to Dortch. One-handed catch. He hauls it in. Spectacular from Greg Dortch.
This kid is special here, going down the field. Double coverage right here. He reaches out there with one hand and makes a fantastic catch.
35 yards. Wake snaps it quick. Hartman under pressure. Finds his tight end. Frudenthal inside the 5 to the goal line. Touchdown. Demon Deacons respond in a blink of an eye.
Good job by Sam Hartman, hanging in the pocket there at the last second, getting rid of it to his tight end. And great running by the tight end with the stiff arm, getting into the end zone.
28 yards from Hartman to Frudenthal. 3rd touchdown of the year for the redshirt junior tight end from a place pretty fond in your heart, Richmond, Virginia.
That's right. The Spiders, Richmond.
And Skiba, Wake's freshman kicker, tacks on the extra points. All right, we played 4 minutes. We've got 2 touchdowns. Buckle up. Get ready. This one's going to be fun. Deeks and Cardinals just getting going. ACC football is brought to you by Honda Generators and by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Be bold, be confident, live fearless, North Carolina. Obviously, it's been a frustrating stretch for the Louisville Cardinals. Bobby Petrino sitting at 2-5. Louisville riding a 4-game losing streak for the first time in a decade. Trying to bounce back at home today. Early offense has been the story. Interesting. This is the 6th ever meeting, Brian, between these two teams. Louisville has won 4 out of the previous 5. This is the first time, though, that Louisville has ever scored first against Wake Forest. The Deeks have been in every game, never beaten the Cardinals until last year when they ran away. Finally, some sunshine peeking through the crowds. Hassan Hill across the 20. Let's go back to that Wake Forest touchdown. Hartman stepping up, finding Frudenthal.
Well, when this offensive line is healthy, man, a quarterback has to have confidence in his offensive line. And see how Sam Hartman stayed in that pocket because he trusted those guys and made a terrific throw downfield for the touchdown.
Wake's veteran offensive line has endured injuries as well, but they have experience up front to offset the inexperience of the freshman QB. Jawan pass. Started the opener against Alabama, played pretty well, struggled the next couple of games, has been removed from a handful of games, but he completes this pass. Some soft coverage. Jalen Smith, his first catch, and another pretty good chunk against the Wake Forest defense.
Look at the big plays allowed right there, Evan. This defense has really struggled, and Louisville's going to take advantage of it. On that last play, all the DBs drop back, leaving 10 yards, and a little crossing route gains 20 yards.
Pass completes it again. Des Fitzpatrick across midfield to the Wake Forest 47.
Again, if this offensive line of Louisville gives Puma the time, he will pick this defense apart, and we're starting to see it already in this first quarter.
Again, last week, Justin Sternad, the only scholarship linebacker, Luke Masterson, a backup safety, moved from the secondary into the linebacker corps on Wednesday when DJ Taylor got sick. Here's a good play from the backers. Masterson and Sternad both there to reject the Louisville rusher Hassan Hall.
Good job of sniffing that ball out up the middle. Masterson, who we talked about. Look at Sanad here. Coming up, avoiding the block and making a big hit.
Yeah, Linwood Foy completely whiffed on the block there. Hey, one question I had for you. You were a safety. If your coach had said, hey, you're playing linebacker this week, what kind of mental adjustment would that have been?
Well, it depends on what type of defense you were playing already. And for the most part, when I was playing safety with the Falcons, I played like a linebacker. So it would have been an easy adjustment for me. But as far as Masterson, it's a tough adjustment because he's not used to playing up front.
Well, it has been an evolving season for several minds on the Wake Forest defense, players and coaches alike. Lyle Hemphill, of course, began the season as the safeties coach. Now he's the co-defensive coordinator. Hemphill up in the booth, Clausen communicating with him from down on the field. Hemphill said he used to get to the office at 6. Now he gets there at 4:45, averaging about 4 hours of sleep a night, trying to get ready each week. That pass to the outside broken up, intended for Devontae Pete, and Amari Henderson with his second breakup of the first quarter.
Amari did a great job breaking on this ball, getting his hand in there and knocking it out. For a second, he was wide open, but Puma should have got rid of the ball earlier, didn't, and it cost him.
So the incomplete pass on 3rd and 5 brings the Louisville punter Mason King onto the field for his 42nd punt of the season. Greg Dortch standing at his own 10-yard line. High end over end. Bounces just shy of the goal line, but that's going to be in the end zone. Very close, but no cigar. And Wake will take over at the 20. Bobby Petrino trying to get his quarterback Puma pass in gear. 7-all. A year ago, in fact, a year almost to the day, October 28, 2017, Greg Dortch torched the Louisville Cardinals. 4 touchdowns, and he fumbled another out the back of the end zone for a touchback. The most bizarre thing is that later that night, after landing on the pylon during the game, he had to go to the hospital. He had ruptured his small intestine, didn't play again for the rest of the season. It was a scary injury for Dortch. Already in this quarter, he made his 53rd catch of the year. That matches his reception total from a year ago as Cade Carney takes the handoff for a short gain up the middle. Second possession for Wake. See if the Louisville defense makes any adjustments. Hartman rolls to the perimeter and zips it to Dortch. He makes his 54th grab of the year near the sticks. It'll be a yard shy of the first down.
Chandler Jones, good defense on Greg Dortch. He pushes off a little bit to create that separation, and a good catch by Greg Dortch.
Jones, a true freshman from Miami, getting physical. On third and short, it's Carney powering his way up the middle. You watch Cade Carney, this guy runs with guts.
He does, and it's hard to figure him out. And in this offense, with that read option, you kind of delay, and you wonder whether he has the ball or not, but it is very effective here.
Oh, Carney was wide open, and Hartman missed him.
And you see right there, C.J. Avery looking out at the safety saying, whose guy is that? And I believe it was C.J. Avery who was probably supposed to watch that fullback, running back out of the backfield.
This time they swing it out to Carney. And he breaks one tackle before D. Smith brings him down. You know, I can't really remember Wake Forest running Carney out from the slot like that. So that really caught Louisville off guard, too.
It sure did. And you got to be prepared for everything, and you got to play your assignments. The linebacker, his responsibility is watch the running back.
3rd and 3. Hartman rifles to Dortch. In open space, we know he's dangerous.
Wow.
To the 28-yard line.
He is so fun to watch. Good shoestring tackle by Chandler Jones there.
32-yard gain on 3rd and 3. And Wake right back to the line. Ready to snap with about 32 seconds on the play clock. Carney has a hole inside the 20, embraces the contact, and he's spun down at the 11 by Dorian Etheridge.
Carney is just one of those tough running backs. He doesn't have the breakaway speed, but he will run over you or run through you and slap you, just as we saw right there as you're coming across.
Deacons on the move again. Hartman keeps it, runs it up the middle, bulldozing to the end zone, and he's in. Hartman for the touchdown. 12 yards for the freshman QB.
And there, Van Gorder. We talked to him earlier this week about that read option. You have to use your hands and see what's going on and play off the block. And of course, Sam does a great job reading the play, found the hole, easy score.
What do you think Van Gorder's thinking?
He has no chances today.
Well, I mean, you know, his guys had a chance to bring Hartman down, couldn't do it.
Hartman's a tough guy to bring down.
He's tough. That's what everyone on the Wake Forest team says about Sam Hartman. The toughness for the true freshman. 14-7. Wake leads Louisville, still in the first. ACC football is brought to you by your local Ford dealer, by Synovus, the bank of here, and by Bad Boy Mowers. The 145th Kentucky Derby, just 189 days away. It's 27 weeks from now. Sam Hartman has the Wake Forest offense cooking here in the first quarter. With 6 minutes to go in the first quarter last week against Florida State, Wake Forest had already run 30 plays as Hall takes the kickoff out to the 22. Return to that thought in a moment. Let's check in with Kelsey down on the sideline.
Thank you, Evan. You know, talking to Bobby Petrino yesterday, he said one of the most difficult things this season has been seeing his guys down and feeling sorry for themselves. So Jalen Smith said during the bye week they had a meeting and they drew a line and they sand. And they said once you walk past this line, there is no looking back. The only thing you can control is what's going to take place over these next few weeks. He said they are just preaching positivity. And Petrino also said, you know, you look to correct things from losses, but there's a time you have to put it behind you and look forward. And he wants to get that energy back in the building to becoming winners, guys. Kind of a Lion King philosophy for the Louisville Cardinals.
Exactly.
Hassan Hall with a run on first down. Sternad makes the stop. Louisville, a 52-yard touchdown run for Trey Smith on the first drive. They moved into Wake Forest territory in drive number 2, but stalled around the 45. And there goes pass to the ground. Wake Forest struggled to get to DeAndre Francois last week in Tallahassee, but Isang Bassi from the corner picks up the sack today.
That's good to see from Wake Forest, mixing it up a little bit. You blitz the cornerback from the left side, and Puma just didn't see him coming until the last second. And a good job by Bassi holding on to his foot.
Really felt like one of the keys for both teams today was going to be, can Wake Forest generate pass rush, which they haven't done this year. Louisville sets up the screen. Of course, the Cardinals gave up 7 sacks last week, 2 weeks ago before the bye against BC. They lost 8 on the sack and then get close to the first down, and it's going to be 3rd and short.
That was a good-looking screen right there. 4th down right now, so Petrino elects to punt here.
That was a 3rd down play. The completion to Smith gains 15, but they needed about 16 or 17. So Dortch back standing at his own 29-yard line. Mason King's boot is high, and Dortch, amidst traffic, takes the fair catch at the 37-yard line. Our weather report today brought to you by North Myrtle Beach Convention and Visitors Bureau. Overcast skies, cool 51 degrees, a very slight breeze. Is this football weather?
This is perfect football weather.
You were complaining a little bit about being cold this morning.
Well, if I had my football shoulder pads on, I would not have been complaining, but I have a suit on, and it's freezing cold up here.
Well, you can wear your shoulder pads next time. Won't hold that against you. Long wait before the give. Strong running out to the 45-yard line. Matt Colburn.
Brian Gorda's defense is really struggling with that read option. You know, and the offensive line is doing a terrific job up front for Wake Forest.
Again, Colburn across midfield. First down, Wake Forest.
The one thing you don't want to do, and Van Gorda said it, his defense can't be too aggressive. The lineman can't get up the field too quick, or you're going to leave the middle open, and we're seeing that right now.
Gain of 12, the stop for Rajay Burns. Now Hartman to throw. Pump fakes to Dortch. Great adjustment. Caught at the 23.
You just can't stop this kid. He's
Doesn't seem that way.
No, you have no answer for Dortch. A little delay. Wow.
Back shoulder throw. Up the middle, Colburn, another big chunk. Wake Forest moves the chains again. That's the 10th first down of the first quarter. Last week, Wake had 13 first downs in the first against Tallahassee. That was the second most in a quarter in school history. Now Hartman takes it to the outside. He's going to run. And inside the 10, he'll be ushered out of bounds by C.J. Avery.
Good smart play right there. Not trying to do too much. Hartman, it's wide open. Good job.
Look into the red zone, brought to you by CPI Security. Wake, 2 trips, 2 touchdowns on 2 possessions so far today. Fake to Colburn. Hartman overthrows Freudenthal. We'll catch our breath with the incomplete pass. As a defender in your college career and NFL career, you never saw a pace like this, did you?
Absolutely not. I mean, this is a really good pace here, as you see 4 receivers stacked to the left here.
4 Louisville defenders. Hartman goes to the right. It's complete, and it's in the end zone. Scotty Washington with a Wake Forest touchdown. That's his first score of the season, and the stomach aches continue for Brian Van Gorder, Louisville's defensive coordinator.
Well, we talked about those outside receivers. Hartman using these guys to make big plays today, and there we see it. Scotty Washington gets in the end zone.
Wake Forest has gone 81 yards in 6 plays, 80 yards in 8 plays, 63 yards in 7 plays. The longest of those drives took 2:07. This one took just 107 seconds for Dave Clawson's offense.
Great offensive set. You send everybody to the left, and you leave one-on-one coverage there with Scotty Washington, and most times you're going to lose that one.
Well, Washington's 6'5", and Cornelius Sturgill's 5'11".
Take advantage of the weakness, and that's exactly what Wake Forest did.
Wake Forest band made the trip, and you saw the Louisville defense on the sideline. What must they be thinking? Like, I mean, this game's just getting started.
Well, Brian Van Gorder has no answer to this offense. And, you know, he mentioned it's really tough when you don't have those tremendous athletes on your defense able to make plays. And just setting up, trying to figure out what Wake Forest is doing, it's really tough.
Hey, your first glimpse of Sam Hartman in person. He's 8 of 10 for 145 and 2 scores.
I like this guy, and he's tough. He's taking a couple of hits, and he just gets up and keeps moving.
Hall from the 2. And he ran over a tackler, but he's brought down as well across the 20. It was the running back DeAndre Delaney who made the hit and got hit. Sam Hartman, true freshman from Charlotte. If he wins today, he'll be the first true freshman QB in Wake Forest history to win as many as 4 games in a season. John Wolford won 3 games as a true freshman 4 years ago.
Dave Clawson has a winner in Hartman. I like what I see out in this young man. He's very patient. He takes what you give him, and he so far taking care of the ball, which is most important.
Juwan Pass. Over the summer, he said he used to talk to Lamar Jackson pretty much every single day. And Lamar Jackson expressed a ton of confidence into what Juwan Pass could be this year. But, you start the season against Alabama, and then you think you're coming home, you have a chance, and you play in this driving monsoon downpour, which was unrelenting. And then a couple of receivers drop balls early against Western Kentucky. It was hard for this guy to build confidence.
Well, it's definitely hard, especially when your head coach is taking you out.
Ooh, that throw.
That's a bad throw.
Over the head of the tight end, Mickey Crum.
And you can see Petrino on the sideline is really, really angry. I mean, he just let this ball get away from him. He just floated it.
And it becomes 3rd and 10.
I think the one problem that Puma is having is he's looking over his shoulder. Every time he comes off the field, you got Petrino in your face, and you're afraid to make mistakes, and it's tough to play when you got to look over your shoulder.
It's an interesting observation, and I don't think you're wrong at all. On 3rd down, Pass completes this one. The speedy freshman, Tutu Atwell. This is the guy they need to get the ball to more.
No question about it. Kind of reminds me of Greg Dortch. He's not too big, but he's very electric with his speed and quick.
16 yards for Atwell, his 13th catch of the year. 8 of those have come in the last 3 games in which he's scored twice.
Right now, Louisville has to be happy with the offensive line. They're doing a good job of protecting up front.
Pass down the seam into traffic, and there's a flag late.
He got there just a little too early.
Atwell the intended target, and it's going to be pass interference.
And a good throw here by Puma. You see
defensive pass interference, number 21.
Trying to go up, but
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Just a smidge too early on a pass that was going to be a tough one for Atwell to grab and not get killed.
And you can't fault Massey for going for the ball there.
We talked about the penalty situation. Wake Forest has been fantastic in terms of limiting penalties. Dave Clawson says he expects those type of aggressive penalties. They're going to happen.
They're going to happen.
Pass, slips it down to Crum. 5-yard pickup.
Well, that play right there with Puma just tossing that ball 2 yards to your tight end. You can almost run for 5 yards there.
quarterback wants to be in second and manageable. 2nd and 5, certainly that. This is Trey Smith, and he'll move the chains down to the 37-yard line. Louisville on the move. Let's check in with Kelsey.
Thanks, Evan. Yeah, you know, coming into this game, through 7 games, only 25 penalties for Wake Forest. And Dave Clausen told us yesterday that they have officials at every single practice, even preseason camp. Now, the difference between Wake Forest and other teams is that Wake Forest hires ACC officials for every practice, whereas other teams may hire local guys like high school officials. And he says, if it's close, call it. But like you guys mentioned, he said those aggressive penalties will happen. They're more trying to limit the lack of focus ones.
That's a great report, Kelsey. Really interesting conversation with Clausen yesterday. In the pass, a little bit behind Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick is wide open there. Puma just throws the ball behind him.
4 seconds left in the opening quarter. A quarter in which the two teams have combined for well over 350 yards.
Man, well, we knew it was going to be a high-scoring game, and we didn't predict that.
We had a hunch. Good defense there. Willie Yarberry throws Trey Smith to the ground. And that's the end of the first quarter. 1 down, 3 to go on homecoming at Louisville. Cardinals on the move, but trailing by a couple of scores after 1. ACC football is brought to you by CPI Security, the official security partner of the ACC. Louisville legend Muhammad Ali, floating like a butterfly, stings like a bee. Everywhere you go in Louisville, you see stories about this guy, and on the sidelines, they've got his old boxing gloves, they got his old championship belt. They want to use him. That they got to get some turnovers, some more scores. 21-7, Wake Forest leads, although Louisville on the 8th play of a drive that so far has gone 43 yards. Pass hands off to Smith, and he'll pick up 4. First quarter game summary. Wake Forest 224 yards of offense. Sam Hartman accounting for 166 of those on the ground and through the air.
How about Greg Dortch? 4 catches for 94 yards already. The first quarter.
No touchdowns though.
No touchdowns.
He's got to pick up the pace. He had 4 of them last year against the Cardinals. Match that total against the Rice Owls earlier this year. That pass thrown behind Smith. And pass took a hit in the backfield from Cam Glenn as he released it.
Jalen Smith made a great cut out of this 10-yard route. And you can see with Puma, you're looking right at him, all eyes on him, but he throws it behind him. You got to lead Jalen Smith there, and that's a first down, and continue to keep the ball.
Cardinals turn it over on downs. Wake will take over at the 33. Wake 3 for 3 drives and touchdowns in the first quarter. 4 for 4 on 3rd down were the Deeks. Hartman back to work. Gives it to his sturdy running back, Cade Carney, out to the 37.
Good job by G.G. Robinson there, the nose tackle. Had a chance to talk to his dad on the way down here. Gerald Robinson played in the NFL. Good play up the middle.
G.G. from your stomping grounds outside of Atlanta. PJ Blue makes the stop here. See if Wake can stay perfect on 3rd downs. It's going to be 3rd and about 3. This would be such a confidence boost for the Louisville defense.
It would be, and no question about it.
Hartman looking right, and there was some holding on the perimeter intended for Sage Surratt, but it's incomplete, and for the first time today, the Wake punting unit coming onto the field.
That's a good no call there. I mean, both of these receivers kind of fighting and scrapping there. Just about a 5-yard route, so you can't complain if you're the receiver. The DB can put his hands on you. I like it.
Anthony Johnson, the cornerback. It's like he was doing a good bit of talking for a defense that's been struggling so far.
Well, he's been frustrated. You got to take advantage of those opportunities.
Louisville shakes free. Rajay Burns across midfield. He bulldozed exposes the Wake Forest punter, Dom Maggio. And Louisville sets up in great field position. There is a Cardinal injured behind the play at the Cardinals' 25-yard line. We'll check that. Rajay Burns had a couple big returns earlier this year. Cardinals in business. Welcome back to Louisville. Now time for our trivia question. Which three champion athletes oversaw the 2007 Orange Bowl coin flip? Wake and Louisville, the first ever meeting between the schools in that game. Three prestigious legends. We're at midfield for the coin toss. Think about it. We'll let you know the official answer in a couple of minutes. Rajay Burns, 45-yard return. The type of play that can just change the feeling on the sideline. You know that.
Oh, no question about it. And I hope it does for Louisville. Get a little momentum, get a little confidence in this offense right now.
Hassan Hall in the backfield, 4 carries, 15 yards for him so far. Fake the handoff to Hall, pass deep down the sideline, some contact, and the ball knocked free. Essang Bassey in the coverage intended for Smith.
Great coverage right there by Bassey, just running with the receiver. A little out and up, but he stays with him, gets his hands on, and then he shows his speed to catch up, and he knocks the ball out of his hand. Essang, one of the best players on this defense for Wake Forest, gets it done there.
His 34th career game today.
43 tackles coming into today's game. An interception on the year.
Pre-snap flag. After that last play, Jalen Smith went to the sidelines, replaced by Fitzpatrick.
False start. Offense, number 1. 5-yard penalty, second out.
Tutu Atwell, the freshman wide receiver. Out of Northwestern High School in Miami, same school that produced Teddy Bridgewater, who was a pretty good quarterback for the Cardinals.
Yes.
So cost of 5. 2nd and 15 for pass. As time steps up, Atwell wide open, look out. Speed pushed out of bounds by Masterson. It's the safety in Masterson who made that stop.
Exactly. But give a lot of credit to Tutu Atwell. Got knocked down, got back up, crossed a crossing route. And look at the speed. This guy can burn.
His father was a wide receiver at both Miami High and the University of Minnesota. Atwell, 2 catches for 36 yards. And they look to him again, but pass. He's had some trouble sailing those throws to the outside.
Yeah, he's not following through. I mean, he's just he's throwing it off his back leg, and he's floating a lot of passes. Yeah, he just floated that ball out there instead of really following through.
Is that something you can correct during a game?
Oh, no question. I mean, your quarterback coach should be in your ear.
QB coach Nick Petrino, Bobby's son, in his 4th year with Louisville. Give to Hall, running left, and this time he's stuffed by Boogie Basham. Well, you've had enough time to think about it. Let's answer the Aflac trivia question. 2007 Orange Bowl, played on January 2nd, 2007. Arnold Palmer, Muhammad Ali, and Dwayne Wade.
Wow, what a crew right there. Man.
Louisville won the game 24-13. Wake Forest had a lead in the 4th quarter, though. Wake, despite losing 4 of the previous 5 meetings, has led in the 2nd half in all of them. Pass, tucks it, runs it. First down, inside the 20.
Good decision right there by pass. Had nobody open to his right. He had the sideline wide open to his left. Good blocking up front. Just a good job recognizing that the left side of the field was open and using his speed to get the first down.
13 yards for pass, who was named a captain of this team in the preseason. One of 4 sophomore captains in the entire country in FBS. Trey Smith takes it inside the 15 before Cam Glenn brings him down.
No, this is a key to the game also if you look at Louisville. Ball control, keeping that Wake Forest offense off the field, giving their defense some rest.
That's gigantic.
It is. And in that last drive that Louisville had, their defense got some rest, and what happened? 3 and out. Wake Forest.
Good play from the backside there made by Demetrius Kemp. Veteran 50-year senior in his 43rd career game. Brings down Trey Smith, and it'll be 3rd down.
Big play here. Kemp comes all the way from across the field and just chases Trey Smith down from behind.
Third and 4. Cardinals 2 of 6 on 3rd down so far. Letting time tick off the clock. Letting the defense rest. Hassan Hall has the first down. Battles toward the goal line. And he stopped at the 1.
Hassan, not a big guy. Tried to power his way in the end zone there. And saw the big guys trying to follow behind him and push him in the end zone. This young freshman has a promising career at Louisville. Talked about him early. Breakaway speed. Not big in stature.
They haven't had a running back with the type of speed he's had in quite a while. Now Trey Smith dots the I, takes the football, squirts his way to the outside for the touchdown. Second of the game for Smith. Cardinals a PAT away from being back within 7.
That was almost too easy, Evan. Wake Forest lost containment on the outside. You cannot allow him to get to the outside that easy. Somebody blew an assignment out there.
And remember, that set up by the 45-yard punt return from Rajay Burns. 9 plays, 44 yards on the drive, 45 yards on the punt return from Burns.
Talking about change of momentum.
Special teams can do that. Creaky tacks it on, and the Cardinals cut the 14-point gap in half. Second score for Smith, 21-14. Louisville Cardinals go 44 yards on 9 plays after the 45-yard punt return from Rajay Burns. And Trey Smith, about a month ago, he had 70 yards against Florida State. That was his career high. He's got 69 yards so far today with a lot of time still to go.
Time of possession has been real important for Louisville. When they hold the ball and keep that defense off the field, the defense plays better. So let's see what happens on this drive by Wake Forest.
13.5 minutes to 6.5 minutes, but it's not Wake's goal to dominate time of possession. One of the up men returns the kickoff. That was Bachman. Greg Dortch so far, well, did more of the same against the Cardinals. Greatness made here, presented by Synovus.
Fantastic catch the first time with that one-hand grab. And there, just being a great athlete, pushing the cornerback off, making a play in here. Just right up the middle. Shifty, quick, speedy. Man, he is a playmaker.
6 yards away from another 100-yard day. Colburn in the backfield to start this possession alongside Hartman at the 26-yard line. Colburn, big hole. Big hole. Speed down the sideline for the once Louisville commit. He went to Wake Forest, and he's got a one-play, 74-yard drive for the touchdown.
Wow. What a hole created by that offensive line. Just an off-tackle run. Not even a delay. Just an easy run off tackle. And Colburn does the rest with his speed.
How good must it feel for that kid playing in his 44th career game? He's now over 2,200 yards in his career. And for his last couple years of high school, he thought he was going to be a Cardinal. Did not work out. Scholarship pulled in fishy fashion late. And Colburn has had a tremendous career for Wake Forest University. Dave Clawson's thrilled that he got him. And Jayburn sings his way 74 yards into the end zone.
Look at off the hedge here, right? Perfect block there to seal that hole, and Colburn does the rest with his speed. It has to feel great to come back to Louisville and do that against the team that you thought you were going to play for.
Colburn over the century mark. Brian Van Gorder still looking for answers. Let's check in with Kelsey.
Yeah, thanks, Evan. You know, you just told that story of Matt Colburn and how much this game means to him, and you were saying how it didn't work out with Louisville. Well, that was just 2 days before he was supposed to sign with the Cardinals that they asked him to gray shirt, and Wake Forest had offered him as well, and he decided he didn't want a gray shirt and he wanted to play. And now you can see, you mentioned the amazing career he's had so far, and he just capped it off with that beautiful run there.
Well, and he had 134 yards last year against the Cardinals. And, you know, Bobby Petrino's been diplomatic about it. He said, you know, happy for the kid, happy he found a spot. Wish he didn't have this type of success against us, but, you know, that's football.
That's what normally happens. You play with that chip on your shoulder.
That drive is not going to help the time of possession category for Wake Forest. Ball rolls into the end zone, and then he brings it out, but they blow the whistle.
Catch, then picked up the ball in the end zone. Therefore, it is a touchback.
A little confusion from Yeast. Louisville so far, 2 touchdowns on 5 drives. Turn it over on downs. They've marched into Wake Forest territory on 4 of their 5 drives, only scoring twice. That was kind of the story for the Wake offense last week. They had 3 great drives to start the game against Florida State. Only managed 10 points. Think of how it could have been different if it was 14 or 17 or 21-0. Here comes the reverse. And Louisville trying to get to the outside. Ball comes free. It's scooped up. There goes Boogie Basham. Another touchdown for the Demon Deacon D. The 6th non-offensive touchdown of the season for Wake Forest. Scoop and score.
And that play just didn't start out right here. You see the wide receiver coming around. He gets the pitch, almost gets tackled there. And good tackle. Coming up, hunting down that ball. And an easy scoop by Boogie Basham. Nickname Boogie. I like that.
Marcus Riley, the Cardinals receiver that fumbled it. And Basham 23 yards dancing into the end zone. Cam Glenn with the big lick to force the fumble. And just like that, and 30 seconds ago, it was a 7-point game. And then the turnover. Another giveaway that's plagued the Cardinals all year long. Redshirt sophomore Carlos Boogie Basham with a 23-yard scoop and score. Wake Forest offensively has been pretty good, and defensively they struggle, but they have scored. They got a couple touchdowns against Rice, scored a couple non-offensive touchdowns against Boston College. And if you're Marcus Riley in the Louisville sideline, you haven't gotten that much playing time. You get the carry on the reverse. Looks like something's there, and then you cough up the football. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't call that play again.
I don't think they're going to call that play, Evan.
So Louisville scored to make it 21-14 with 9:50 to go. Then Colburn went 74 yards, scored with 9:34 to go. And then the 23-yard scoop and score with 9:20 to go. That's 3 touchdowns in a 30-second span. And we got the video evidence to prove it.
Trey Smith takes the handoff and goes 70-something yards for a touchdown. And here, Colburn just comes back, high-stepping down the sideline. And then Boogie Basham, the defense of Wake Forest, comes through with a huge play.
How will Louisville respond back out there on offense is Puma pass. He's 8 of 15 so far. Nowhere to go in the air, so he'll take it on the ground and pick up 5 yards. You wonder how Louisville and Bobby Petrino in particular will adjust the play calling. I mean, it was 21-14 a moment ago, and now they get the ball back, and it's 35-14.
Well, you know, again, we kept talking about how Puma, he has the short trigger and changing quarterbacks. And right now, I think Puma is under the gun now. He may get the first half, and we may see something different in the second half. And a good run there by Trey Smith. You're going to have to continue to mix the plays up.
Willie Yarberry makes the stop. Trey Smith has a career high on the ground just in this first half alone. 77 yards.
Give the offensive line a lot of credit. They've been playing really well. I mean, it's up to Puma to put the ball in the receiver's hands. And a couple of times he's just holding the ball a little too long.
Louisville moved Mekhi Becton in their prized possession of the offensive line from the right side to the left side. There's a wide open man. Louisville's tight end Jordan Davis pushed out of bounds by Luke Masterson.
And even here, I mean, Jordan Davis is wide open early. You got to hit him early, allow him to get up the field, and not wait until he gets close to the sideline. You got to be able to recognize what's going on around you a lot quicker than Puma has so far today.
17 yards on the catch for Davis. In Wake Forest territory, Masterson coming with a blitz, and pass throws incomplete. That's something that Masterson didn't do last week.
We talked about that. Only 2 practices last week to learn how to play linebacker. We may see a little difference today. And here, Masterson comes in on a blitz and forces Puma to get rid of that ball for an incomplete pass.
Luke Masterson, a business major, and Lyle Hemphill, the new co-defensive coordinator, was saying he felt bad for him. You do these 4 classes. They're not easy classes. Then you come and spend multiple hours watching film trying to learn. Cam Glenn in the secondary forced to bring down Trey Smith, who's closing in on 100. Luke Masterson misses the tackle on this play.
Yeah, he just made a big play on the blitz, and you got to be able to wrap up and make the play.
So Louisville's gone 41 yards so far on 5 plays. Get the feeling a 21-point deficit, not nearly a large enough lead in this game. Under pressure from Rodney that time, overthrows Crum. He's had an off-kilter first half. Overthrowing Atwell on the perimeter there. On 2nd and 10. That ball tipped and almost intercepted. That's what Wake Forest is looking for, and what Louisville is certainly trying to avoid. Pass on 3rd down, throws short and lost a yard. And the drive stalls at 35. This is a tough choice for Petrino. You don't want to punt the ball here. Down by 21. Glenn Creaky has made a 46-yarder, but from here it would be 52. So on 4th and 11, the offense will stay out there. Kemp coming, pressure's on, pass throws to no one. Wake Forest will take over on downs. So Louisville was moving until they weren't. Sternad and Kemp with a good pressure. Wake will take over, up 21. The Works Pegasus, your workspace anyplace. Find it at your local Lowe's. Always helpful getting ready for the broadcast here in Louisville, Kentucky this week. We got a great crew. led by Alex Farmartino and Billy McCoy. Sam Hartman leading the Wake Forest offense back on the field. Wake has been chewing up yards, and there's Colburn, who ran for 74 on his last carry. Takes it for a gain of 5 this time before Tavarius Peterson brings him down. Check out those placards on the sideline.
You gotta love it.
You got Lee Corso, you got a little Fortnite.
Which one is the true play? That's the big question.
I think it was the kiwi, not the watermelon. You ever played Fortnite? I have never played once.
Never. I didn't even learn about that until like 3 weeks ago. Somebody told me about it.
We can ask Kelsey. She'll teach us. Up the middle.
How about this? Wake Forest getting a little conservative. That's 2 runs up the middle.
Eric Dorsey brings him down. You got the minion. Shark Week, always exciting. On 3rd down, they snap it quick, and Colburn almost broke free for another big play. He moves the chains.
I mean, this read option is just terrific if you run it right and you get great blocking up front. I mean, Colburn here he's just waiting. Where's the hole at? Where's the hole at? And he just hits the hole and gains 5-10 yards.
Put yourself in the strong safety's mind. What are you looking for on each of these plays?
Well, you almost have to freeze and just watch what happens and kind of follow him. Yeah, it is. It's a game of chicken.
First down, Colburn spun over a couple tacklers.
The thing that makes it even harder is when you have an athletic quarterback like Sam Hartman who can keep the ball and go around the corner.
From the Louisville 46, Hartman looks back to the right, slings it downfield. Washington got his right paw on it, but unable to hang on.
Wow, that's a well-designed play there.
Wake certainly has slowed down a little bit with a 21-point lead. Maybe trying to give their defense a rest. A year ago, they never wanted to take their foot off the gas, knowing what Lamar Jackson was capable of.
Well, the way we've been watching this first half, they've started to take their foot off the gas with a couple of runs and not really passing the ball down the field, but now trips to your right, we might see something different right here.
Hartman now 8 of 12. He's thrown incomplete in his last 2 attempts, and he's going down in the backfield. Amante Caban picks up his 2nd sack of the year. Louisville's going to get the ball back with about 4 minutes to go in the half.
That's something Louisville hasn't seen a lot of, sacks this year.
Say that again. 122nd in the nation, with only 7 of them in the first 7 games of the season.
John McCallum just kept trying, and finally makes the play.
Dom Maggio standing at his own 35. Well, that ball may have been partially blocked. It ricochets around. Louisville's going to have great field position after what's only about a 12, 13-yard punt.
Despite the score, the special teams playing well for Louisville. Here, you see the punter gets the ball. It looked like...
Hard to tell if Yasir Abdullah got a hand on it or not.
Looked like he did get a hand on that.
From the way it came out, it absolutely did. 3:43 on the clock for the Cardinals.
Starting out with good field position.
Pass, fakes the handoff, sets his feet, breaks a tackle, and finds the open man on the outside for about a 9-yard gain on first down. Mickey Crum tackled by Masterson.
Good job by Pullman looking out to his right here. Started out left. Finds Mickey Crum for the easy 8 yards.
Second catch for Crum on 2nd down and short. Jalen Smith rambles out of bounds into Wake Forest territory.
Short, quick passes. Puma getting rid of the ball very quickly there.
Nasir Greer in the game for Wake defensively picks up the stop. Greer, a true freshman who we had an interesting conversation with Lyle Hemphill about yesterday. Juwan pass, steps up, looking to run. And he's sandwiched by 4 Demon Deacons. Ball came out, but pass was down. Saw Greer pick up the football. Check out pass, try to protect this ball late.
Yeah, he turned into a running back here. He takes off. I'm used to quarterbacks looking to slide on the ground. But here, pass gets the ball. He covers it up like a running fullback. Ooh. And he takes some hits.
That ball almost came free despite the precaution. No review, first down, big hit, but a completion to Atwell.
Bassey did a good job coming out of his back pedal, coming up and making a hit on Atwell.
C-37 Nasir Greer, true freshman safety, who Lyle Hemphill was pretty frank when he said, look, I didn't think he was going to be ready to play as a true freshman. He doesn't practice all that well, but we put him in the game against Notre Dame. He comes flying in, gets a big hit, forces a fumble, and all of a sudden they like him. Here's a fumble, picked up in the backfield by Hall, trying to turn it into something. And he can't do much. It's going to be a loss of 8 yards. Demetrius Kemp with a big pressure for Wake Forest.
Wake Forest being aggressive here. You see Kemp coming in outside, and Hassan, you got to be a better blocker if you're a running back. He did not pick up Kemp. Kemp makes the big hit, knocks the ball loose, but good reaction by Hassan. Jumping on that ball. Trying to make the best out of it.
All of a sudden, second and short becomes third and long. Pass has time, finds the open man, first down Louisville to the 19-yard line.
And I'm not sure what it is, but pass just continues to hold the ball a little too long. He has receivers open, but it's like he doesn't have confidence to just get rid of it and throw it.
Fourth catch of the game for Tutu Atwell, leading Louisville in receptions. Punt fake, end zone. What a catch! Seth Dawkins hangs on for the Cardinals touchdown.
Say what you want. Puma put that ball out there, and he allowed his receiver to make a play. And Seth Dawkins comes through with the big catch. I mean, here, he's just trusting his receiver. Put the ball up, allow him to make the play, and Dawkins goes over top of the DB, Bassey, and comes down with the catch. Terrific play there by Dawkins.
Bassey's like, I was right there.
I'm there.
First touchdown catch of the season for Dawkins. Gee knocks in the extra point. 53 seconds left in the half.
There's the boxing gloves.
Red Everlast boxing gloves signed by Muhammad Ali. Turnover would bring out the WBC Heavyweight Championship belt. Bobby Petrino said early in the season we're waiting for someone to put on the belt and the gloves at the same time. That hasn't happened yet for the Cardinals.
But that is a good drive for Louisville there. Puma gaining a little confidence there. He has to trust his receivers. He has a good enough arm to put them in position to make a play. And right there, Seth Dawkins makes a play for him.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. You know, for inexperienced quarterbacks, which both these teams have, they need guys to help them out. They need playmakers to step up and make plays.
Well, the playmakers have to trust their quarterback, too. And want the ball. And run great routes for him. But when you get the opportunity, you got to make the catch.
Dave Clawson put it really well talking about the Wake offense. Last year they made just a gazillion chunk plays, many of them from this guy, until he got hurt against the Cardinals. George steps out of bounds, saves time on the clock, and pushing and shoving away from the play. Dave Clawson said they broke it down during the bye week. Last year, Wake Forest had 15 plays of 30 yards or more from just the outside receivers. This year they've had 3. A couple of them from Sage Surratt in the first game of the year. They've really missed Scotty Washington. Alex Bachman's been banged up. They were emphasizing making those outside guys into true threats this week.
Well, a lot of these guys are getting healthy, and that's been a big reason. Just going to make the Sam Hartman even better. He can keep these guys healthy.
Sam's not going to air it out, it seems.
35 seconds left before the half.
Wake does have all 3 timeouts, but seems content to head in the locker room with a 14-point lead, knowing they will receive the ball to start the second half. Pretty entertaining 30 minutes of football, wouldn't you say, Brian Jordan?
No question.
56 points, 622 yards. A scoop and score, a couple long runs. Trey Smith from 52, Colburn from 74. And a first down stops the clock momentarily, but that probably is still the last play of the half, as Wake Forest will just head to the locker room. We are halfway home today. Bobby Petrino scored first and scored last.
Yes, he did.
And his team still trails by 14. Sam Hartman didn't complete a pass for the last half of that second quarter. It was 8 for 10 for 145, and it's been a while since he completed it, but Wake has really gone to the ground. 21 rushes in the half. Colburn already over 100 yards. Wake's rushing offense has been in gear. Wake Forest band making the trip. They bust the 7.5 hours from Winston-Salem to Louisville. Sure, they had a good time. As you think about these last 30 minutes, I mean, what adjustments can these teams make defensively?
It's not many you can make. You know, it's important for Louisville to hold on to the ball, give that defense a rest.
Let's go down to Kelsey on the field with our Honda dealers of the Carolina interview.
Thank you. We're down here with Coach Dave Clawson. And Coach, you know, yesterday we talked so much about Greg Dortch. He's looking really good, but you have Matt Colburn, and you know this game is important to him. What can you say about the big plays you've been able to get from both of them?
Well, really, this game has been an even game other than Matt Colburn's long run and the fumble recovery for a touchdown. So the yardage is similar. I mean, it's a good football game. There's a lot of football left.
We know you guys play a high-tempo offense. We feel like we've seen that kind of slow down towards the end of this first half with Louisville being able to come in and score that late touchdown. Do you think you're going to try to pick that back up?
We'll pick it back up. That we played a lot of snaps on defense. We had a one-play touchdown. Then we had a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and I just thought our defensive kids had played so many snaps in a row. I wanted to take just a little bit of time off and give them a breather.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck in the second half. Evan, we'll get it back up to you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Kelsey. Wake Forest only ran 33 plays in that first half compared to Louisville's 49, but the big plays were the difference. Boogie Basham's fumble recovery, Colburn's 74-yard run. Wake by 2 touchdowns in the break. Third quarter moments away, but first, Kelsey Wingert standing by with Bobby Petrino.
Thank you so much. We're down here with Coach Petrino. And Coach, you guys got the ball back with 4 minutes left. You're able to put together a 61-yard touchdown drive. How much does that change the mood going into the half?
Yeah, it helps us a lot. You know, I think the offense feels like we can move the ball and get it in the end zone. But we have to do it every single time that we get it. And defense has to come up with some stops. And our punt return team has done a great job. We got 1 block and 1 big return.
How do you feel about Juwan Pass's first half?
Yeah, you know, he's done some really good things. He's got to be able to stand in there, and we're getting too much pressure on him, so we got to give him more time so he can stand in there and make some plays down the field. One of the things that's hurting us is we're not getting anything down the field.
We haven't seen Malik Cunningham in this game. We may see him in the second half.
I mean, we have down and distance where we have a chance to do that. It just depends on whether that comes up or not.
Perfect, Coach. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck in the second half. Guys, back up to you.
A week ago at this time, he was watching his granddaughter's softball game, trying to sit quiet and not yell at the umpires. And here, a little bit different stress on this Saturday at Cardinal Stadium. Juwan passed statistically 15 of 26, 172, a touchdown, no picks. He also ran for 23. The statistics from the eye test don't look terrible as Dort takes a fair catch, Wake at the 25. Take a look at the first half stats overall. Your impressions of pass and what we've seen so far.
He can do better. And again, you heard Petrino say that he's not getting the time that he would like. Offensive line has to do better, and I thought the offensive line did a great job. He has to trust his receivers. He has to get the ball out to him, out of the breaks, and allow them to make plays.
We define chunk plays as either 10 yards rushing or 15 yards passing. Louisville with a 13-9 edge, despite trailing by 2 touchdowns. Colburn to the left of Hartman. And there's a pre-snap penalty.
Offside. Number 41 with contact. 5-yard penalty. First down.
By the way, Riley Johnson, our referee today.
That cannot happen. You're right in front of the ball, Michael Boynton. You cannot jump offside when the ball is sitting in front of you. That is a bad sign going into the second half.
1st and 5, Hartman to Washington. First down, a gain of 6.
That's a bullet thrown by Hartman.
And he's got a good arm.
Just a little 5-yard hook out. And he put the ball right where it's supposed to go.
Sam Hartman won a lot of games as a high school quarterback. Didn't play his freshman year at South Lake Christian Academy, then transferred to Davidson Day, where he was coached by Chad Greer. His son Will is racking up big yards for West Virginia. Run up the middle for a short gain of 2. ACC All Access is your ticket to what's happening inside the conference. They've dominated the ACC with an impressive run of titles, but will Syracuse's luck run dry at the cross-country championships? That's next week on ACC All Access. Find your regional sports network. Check your local listings.
Said Hartman was coached by Chad Greer. Chad Greer was my quarterback at University of Richmond. Wow. Small world.
What was he like?
He was sort of one of those cool...
Oh, look at this. Big run, but a flag down. Colburn is gone, but we'll check the laundry.
Wow. Colburn loves coming back to Louisville. Just another run-off tackle, and he takes it the distance. This guy has some speed, too.
They've picked up the flag. 64, make it 56 yards from Colburn. And Wake Forest about to be double Louisville. Barely seconds into the 3rd quarter.
2 huge runs by Colburn. Wow.
Skiba makes it 42-21. Second big run for Colburn. Van Gorder's defense just lost out there. And look in the middle of the defense.
Well, your middle linebacker has to have his eyes on the running back here. And there again, he gets lost. And that hole is wide open, and Colburn does the rest with his speed. But that's exactly what Van Gorder was talking about. You have to keep your eyes on your assignment. And his assignment was Colburn. It only takes a step being late, and it costs you. Look at those numbers by Matt Colburn. 184, 11 carries. That's a good homecoming for this kid.
South Carolina's Mr. Football in 2014, enjoying himself here in Louisville. 4 plays, 75 yards in 1 minute and 11 seconds. Fair catch signaled, and it was fumbled and then dropped down, and not the prettiest looking kickoff receive we've ever seen.
However, the catch wasn't completed. The ball will be placed at the 11-yard line. First down.
Covering ground brought to you by Bad Boy Mowers. Trey Smith had the 52-yard carry, but Colburn has runs of 74 and 56. 11 for 184. That's an average of 16.7 per carry.
You got to be happy with the rushing yards. I mean, both quarterbacks throwing the ball well in the first half. But, man, they are getting some big chunks out of the running backs.
Hassan Hall, so far in this game, 6 carries for 19 yards. Picks up a pair. Boogie Basham, who had the scoop and score touchdown in the first half with a stop. Brian Jordan, if Wake Forest wins this game, they're sitting at 4-4 with a relatively manageable schedule. No games that are absolute wins, but I think all the games are winnable. Syracuse, NC State, Pittsburgh, and Duke. They'd be 4-4, needing 2 of those to become bowl eligible, as Cam Glenn stops Hassan Hall at the 16-yard line. For Louisville, even more dire circumstances, obviously, with the upcoming schedule being 3 ranked teams plus a trip to the Carrier Dome, which has been the demise of many ACC teams the past couple years.
Well, it's all about health for Wake Forest. As they get healthy, they're playing some really good baseball. They get their football, I'm sorry. They get their receivers back healthy. All of a sudden, Wake Forest looks great.
A little groggy from the 18 innings last night.
Yes, I am a little groggy. What a game. Speaking of baseball.
Complete to Smith. Bassey in the coverage, and an important conversion there to move the chains. Yeah, you played in the NFL for 3 years. You also played 15 years in the majors, including a World Series. What's the difference in pressure, football versus baseball?
Well, football, you can hide behind your helmet.
Okay.
But baseball, you can't hide.
Pressure coming. Masterson hit him after the throw, and it was almost intercepted by Henderson.
Let's go back to what you asked me about looking at Wake Forest and their chances the rest of the season. Right there. Masterson blitzing there, learning the new position. If they can get healthy, I think Wake Forest is a pretty good team. Offensively, they've shown that they can score a lot of points, but as the defense gets healthy, guys learn new plays. They're not playing that bad.
Timeout called by Wake.
Wake Forest. First charge in the second half.
To your point, it feels like Masterson does have the tools. We'll take the timeout. Let's go places. We visit the Louisville Slugger Museum Factory. They started making bats all the way back in 1884. The first professional bat was made for Pete Browning, whose nickname was the Louisville Slugger. And if in Los Angeles they need some new equipment, they get Louisville, Kentucky on the phone. By the way, Brian Jordan played parts of 3 seasons for Louisville's AAA team. You hit 13 home runs while in a Louisville jersey.
That's right. Played in a football field, the old Louisville football stadium, man.
You enjoy your time spent here in Louisville?
I sure did. Yes, I did. A lot of fun.
A long time ago.
It was. I don't want to tell my age there.
You are so wise right now, my friend. Hassan Hall takes the pitch. Louisville wants to get him going. They really like his pure speed. They haven't had a running back with his type of speed for a while.
Yeah, if they can get him in the open field, he is going to be awesome. Great block. Speaking of Masterson, the linebacker, he gets crushed by the wide receiver there.
And that's not good news for Wake Forest. The redshirt sophomore from Roanoke, Carlos Boogie Basham. Shaken up.
It's a quick learning lesson for Masterson, though. You got to keep your head on a swivel. Good crack back block by the wide receiver.
Carlos Basham did walk off the field to the Wake Forest bench. One of 3 tacklers making this play on Hassan Hall. You notice anything?
You know what? I really didn't notice anything. I mean, a good collision there by 3 guys. You see Basham kind of rolling over. But he walked off the field like it wasn't anything with his legs, so that is a good sign. Wake Forest.
Tyler Williams replaces him at the defensive end spot. Basham 1.5 tackles for loss in the game. And look at that. There's Malik Cunningham in a 3rd and short situation. 3rd and 2 from the 31-yard line. Cunningham keeps it to the perimeter. He's very close, and oh, that's a generous spot.
It is a generous spot.
Line judge gave him the 34 before Bassey brought him down.
Looks like he's walking off the field, beat up a little bit after that hit.
I think he had the first down, but I think he had it more at the 33 than the 34.
Yeah, he's got hit there and didn't walk off the field with a lot of energy.
Rifle that ball down the seam, and that's Jalen Smith. His 4th catch of the game. Sternad brings him down. And another Demon Deacon defender is down on the field. Wow. All the talk about the pace of Wake Forest's offense and how Louisville's defense would handle it. But Amari Henderson is shaken up after Louisville just ran its 56th play of the game.
Well, how about this? Hassan sees the blitz coming. Good pickup there, buying my man Puma a little time, and he just throws a bullet in there to Jalen Smith for the first down. And that's what we were talking about coming out of half. Can you buy Puma time to throw the ball down the field?
Wake Forest came into this game basically with 3 healthy cornerbacks. Henderson, Bassey, and Jasir Taylor as the backup. So Taylor, number 24, is in the game. The backup on the depth chart behind Henderson is the true freshman Zion Keith, who has not played yet this year. Pass downfield, Atwell open on the sideline. And it's Taylor, just in the game, who got beat.
That is the guy that they have to get the ball to. Tutu Atwell, true freshman. Keeps his feet in the bounds. This is a great catch. Not just one, but keeping 2 feet in bounds there. But he is a playmaker.
Atwell, 5 catches, 88 yards.
Yeah.
Down to the 23-yard line. Pass continues the march. Jalen Smith to the 12.
Pass complete to number 9.
Spotted down to the 11. Move the chains. Let's check in with Kelsey.
Hey, thanks, Evan. You saw Carlos Basham go down there for Wake Forest. They were over here touching his temples, touching his cheeks on the bench, and they just took him back into the locker room right now.
Does not sound promising. Hopefully, Boogie's okay. New set of downs at the 12-yard line. There's Hall showing the speed to the edge, to the goal line. Touchdown. Cardinals aren't done yet.
How about that? 2 freshmen getting it done. Tutu Atwell. And all of a sudden, you give it to your other freshman, Hassan Hall, who races to the corner of the end zone. Talked about his speed. A chance to show his speed getting around the outside. Barely gets it on that corner.
Bobby Petrino and his running back coach Colby Smith were waiting for one of their backs to separate themselves, and it was the true freshman who did.
Oh, this kid has a lot of talent, and it's just a matter of getting him the ball right there. Wow, he just kind of falls into the end zone. But 2 freshman playmakers for Louisville, getting them right back in this ball game.
They are reviewing this. His foot was very close to the sideline before the ball crossed. Not sure it was out of bounds.
Looks like that leg stayed in front of the pylon, so.
Pretty good battle there. Devontae Pete maintaining the block on Taylor at the goal line. Well, either it's a touchdown or it's 1st and goal from the inside the 1. You can see a little green in between the toe of his cleat and the sidelines. It curls his way inside the pylon. Call confirmed. Second touchdown of the season for Hassan Hall. And Creaky's point after is through. The points are going to keep on coming. ACC football is brought to you by the Works Pegasus. Your workspace, any place. Find it at your local Lowe's. By Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. And by Hardee's All-Star Meal, starting at just $5. Superstar Greg Dortch, couple touchdown returns on the punts against Towson earlier this season. Getting ready to receive here from his own 8-yard line. Dortch denied the 25. Undercut before he could get to touchback territory. And Wake Forest will start with some of its worst field position of the day.
Good coverage by Louisville here. Rajay Burns coming in and making a play. Good job running his lane.
We got 9:44 to go in the third quarter. Brian, in case you were wondering, the official over-under for this game was 68. Hope you had the over. We're at 70 right now and counting. Swing it to the outside. There's Dortch. Wake just trying to get him the ball any spot they can on the field. Creates a 2nd and 4.
The offensive coordinator does a terrific job just moving him around all over the field, try to find ways to get him the ball.
C.J. Avery forced him out of bounds. Now Washington, his 4th catch. Hartman's only thrown to 4 different receivers today, and Dortch and Washington have 10 of Hartman's 12 completions. Frutenthal and Carney have the others.
We're talking about the health of those outside receivers coming into today. They felt really good about them, and Sam Hartman taking advantage of those guys.
Kate Carney, you know he wants to break one.
Oh, he does.
Colburn's like, I broke 2. When are you going to contribute? There's Hartman up the gut. Going to create a 3rd and 1.
It's a good job right there by Hartman. Instead of trying to run up there high and take a big hit, he was looking for the ground and trying to get that first down.
Carney has the first down for Wake Forest. You're right about the decision-making from Sam Hartman. It's something that certainly Dave Clawson and Warren Ruggiero spent a lot of time talking about. He's been inconsistent, as have both these teams in a lot of areas. But Hartman's been pretty good decision-making today. Hope you don't jinx him. That one had some pepper to it off the hand of Washington out of bounds.
Well, it's interesting also how Dave Clawson said, you know, one of the big reasons why he runs this speed-up offense is to keep the defense disguising defenses so Hartman doesn't have to think out there.
On 2nd down, there's Bachman, the 5th Wake Forest receiver with a catch. And that'll move the chains. First down inside the 35.
Another thing I like about Hartman is he's not just throwing to one target. He's looking guys off, hitting his secondary receiver, 3rd receiver.
New set of downs. Didn't like what he saw downfield, so he takes off. And you have to think Dave Clawson will applaud that decision. Don't try to do anything crazy. Right. Don't take a big lick. Just get down, live to see 2nd down.
Exactly. Don't try to force the issue. And we're seeing him tuck that ball away and run it.
Hartman again up the middle inside the 25. And thinking back to the first ever meeting between these two teams, the Orange Bowl in 2007. Wake had a freshman quarterback that year too. Riley Skinner was a redshirt freshman, and Jim Grove used to talk about, look, an incomplete pass is not a bad play. A punt is not a bad play. Just don't hurt us. And that's all you're asking from your freshman quarterback sometimes.
Great cutback by Greg Dortch.
He's special.
He is special.
Very close to what would be the 21st first down of the day for Wake.
Nice little bubble screen there. He takes a couple steps to the outside and cuts it right back up the field.
Pretty good red zone efficiency from each team, you'd say. Carney breaking tackles, churning down to the 1.
What a luxury Wake Forest has. for having those two running backs. Coleman, Carney.
Look at this. Going right back to the line. Play clock at 32 and it snapped. And Carney stopped short. London Jacopo with the tackle. Finally, the chain gang gets a break inside the goal, inside the 5. And there's Carney spinning off a tackler, showing his muscles and scoring for the Deeks.
You gotta love it. Two big, strong running backs. Carney getting his first touchdown of the day.
His 5th of the year. Scored the game winner and Wake Forest opener against Tulane in overtime.
This is power offense. Man, look at him. Show those guns, Carney.
Well, it's that type of swagger that has made him a captain of this team. His father, Carl, was a defensive lineman at East Carolina. And looking at Cade, you can kind of picture in another life, Cade could be on the defensive line, too. Skiba boots it through. Wake now has 7 touchdowns, 4 of which have been on the ground. Carney with his first. 13 plays, 75 yards, in 6.5, no, just kidding, 3 minutes and 10 seconds. But a moment of concern, Greg Dortch on the trainer's table. Let's watch number 3 right here.
The bubble screen out there, he cuts back hard.
Left ankle, maybe?
Looks like he's asking to be retaped. He jumped up on that table and put his foot up there, so might be getting a retake job. There it is. Tape those shoes up.
Number 19, Hassan.
That's one guy you don't want to lose if you're Wake Forest.
Well, the craziest thing was after last year, Wake had that turning point game. They over 600 yards, the second most yards in school history, and that 630-something yards, whatever it was, 632, another fumbled kickoff here. And Hall goes down at his own 12, and a late flag comes in. Wake surpassed the yardage against Louisville a couple times later in the year against Syracuse and Texas A&M.
By the return team. Penalty is half the distance to the goal line. First down.
So Louisville's going to start this drive inside the 10, but on their last drive, Juwan pass was on the money.
He looked real comfortable. He's really got some good protection. Had a chance to look down the field to receivers. And then Hassan just getting it done with his speed, getting to the outside, putting it in the end zone. Touchdown, Louisville.
7 different receivers have caught a pass from Puma. Hassan Hall, no completions, but he's got 10 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown. Trey Smith in the backfield now. Pass to the air. Kind of double down and out was that. Threw it over Crum and then off the hands of Smith.
Somebody blew a route there. If I had to guess there, I would think the tight end, Mickey Crum, probably should have just ran a little hook and stopped.
Second and 10 from the 7. Smith going nowhere. Chris Calhoun, he's saying Bassey all involved on the stop. Creates 3rd and long.
Just a simple play up the middle, but the Deacons did a great job of stuffing that play up.
Tyler Williams, who replaced Boogie Basham, got the legs, and Calhoun got the shoulders.
Justin Stanad is playing a pretty good game for the linebacker.
They need him.
Yes.
Pass throws, tight window, and it's incomplete. Seth Dawkins unable to hang on through the contact.
It's the way you play defensive back, coming up, making a big hit, knocking the ball down. We continue to talk about Mr. Bassey. Well, actually, that was Amari Henderson making a big hit coming up.
Mason King's in his own end zone. third punt to the game for King, averaging 37 yards per punt so far. 37-yard kicker, give Wake Forest the ball at the 44-yard line. Fair catch called for at the 49. Officially spotted at the 48. George back on the field after the retaping to make the fair catch. 42 yards on the punt. And Dave Clawson's team in Cardinals territory to start this drive.
Great field position for Wake Forest, 47 yards. I know it's a breath of fresh air to see Mr. Deutsch come back out on that field. Fair catch that punt, now back on the field for offense.
Here's Bachman down to the 40. Alex Bachman's had an interesting career. Just a tough kid. They've relied on him more and more as a junior and a senior. He had a great bowl game last year against Texas A&M. Although every offensive player had a great bowl game. 55-52. Pretty good day for the offense.
Yes.
Trayshawn Smith makes the stop, but not before Wake has another first down. Both teams right now, Brian, with 23 first downs. Down the seam, and it was swatted down, and that's a good thing for Louisville because Bachman was running free.
He was wide open. Hartman saw him all the way. Good job by the defensive lineman putting their hands up in the air, knocking that pass down. Saved the touchdown.
Perseverance is the word of the day for Brian Van Gorder. Keep on plugging. Second down. Closing in on 5 minutes to play in the third, and there was no hole there whatsoever. Dorian Etheridge, C.J. Avery halting the run.
Great job by the linebacker. Etheridge coming up, being aggressive. The line just standing up. Virginia's offensive line.
Colburn lost a yard. Drops into only 14.6 yards per carry. 3rd and 11. Probably 4-down territory here. And Hartman knows it. So he tries to get a chunk, and he lost the football. And it's going to work out because the fumble gained a couple extra yards. Sage Surratt pounced.
Saying that Hartman was down on the ground, so here's the hit by Etheridge. Yeah, the knees were down. Good call by the referee. Bring that ball back.
Rare circumstance where the defense is glad that he was down because it's a 4th and 7 now instead of a 4th and 5. Can Hartman do it again? There's Dortch. First down inside the 15.
You have an athletic quarterback being able to use his legs to get outside. And Dortch was really covered at first, but he saw the quarterback take off, and look at him. He finds a seam to get open.
Quick snap, Colburn. He's got a hole this time. He's got another touchdown. 3rd of the day for Matt Colburn, and he's over 200 yards on the score.
Wow. Talked about the offensive line fizzling out last week. Still getting it done, opening holes for Mr. Colburn. Getting it done here. Again, right tackle. Evan, I think you can run through that hole.
With Nathan Gilliam and Jack Frutenthal setting up the block, I think I might.
Now, what do you say, you Van Gorder? Man.
What can you say?
Absolutely nothing. Has to be frustrating.
Wake has 56 points with almost 19 minutes still remaining in the game.
84 total points already.
Colburn, 14 carries, 202 yards. And this his 44th career game as a Demon Deacon. Closing in on his career high at 237 last year against Syracuse.
This is a great job finding the off-tackle hole wide open and just showing his speed. I would have never guessed he was that fast But when he broke open, nobody was going to catch this guy. And here, the same sort of play, off tackle. The big offensive line doing a terrific job this game.
That's our Honda Generators power play. 3 touchdowns, 74 yards, 56 yards, and then just 12 yards. See if Louisville can make something happen on special teams. Oh, goodness. How many times has a kickoff been fumbled, and yet Hall's still going? And when he gets to the outside, you better watch out. Goodness. Hall able to make a nice juke move to dodge the Gatorade coolers on the Wake Forest sideline.
It's a good recovery by Hall after dropping the ball. Drops the ball, didn't panic at all. Made a couple of moves, and we talk about his speed. Getting to the outside, turning the corner. Ran out of real estate.
Demetrius.
First down.
They added a foul.
As they should have.
So that takes Louisville's first play of the drive into Wake Forest territory.
I felt like Hall was out of bounds and he got pushed. That was a good call.
Louisville's average starting field position today has been their own 26. On this drive, they'll start at the Wake Forest 40. Pass, fires. Galen Smith hauls it in at the 15.
Wow. What a terrific play. Offensive line giving Juwan Pass a lot of time to wait for Jalen Smith to cross the field, and he threw a strike. Just waiting for the moment here. Perfect throw to Jalen Smith.
Beat Bassey that time. Worth mentioning, Amari Henderson has returned to the game. Smith again inside the 5, embracing the contact.
Another good job. Waiting for Jalen Smith to break inside, and the pass was right on the money.
Travion Red with the tackle.
You watch Puma. Now he's starting to throw the ball and follow through with his passes instead of throwing off the back leg.
Trey Smith with the game's 13th touchdown. Feel bad for the folks cutting the highlight reel of this one. 56-34. Point after try to come.
Just a good job by the offensive line. Blocking up front. Trey Smith finds the hole and muscles through for a touchdown.
I mean, Dave Clawson made a great point walking off the field with Kelsey. The difference in the game was the one big run from Colburn, 74 yards, and the scoop and score fumble recovery. Wake Forest has scored on one additional possession in the second half, which is why it's a 3-score game instead of a 2-score game. But now 56-35 after the point after. And again, 17 minutes, 37 seconds of football left. Can we get to 20 touchdowns today, Brian?
It's a possibility. I mean, you look at both of these defenses, nobody can stop the receivers and the quarterback, nor the running backs. You have no defense whatsoever, and it's about turnovers. Hopefully, Louisville can bounce back and get a turnover and kind of change the momentum. But that remains to be seen.
Wake has 524 yards of offense. Louisville has 428.
Oh my.
Combined, we're closing in on 1,000. Don't forget, coming up at 3:30 from Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, Daniel Jones and the Blue Devils trying to get a big win in a coastal division that is chaotic, to say the least. Miami fell last night. Georgia Tech beat Virginia Tech on Thursday. Wes Durham, James Bates, and Rebecca Capel are getting set if we ever wrap up here in Louisville. Fair catch on the kickoff made by Dort, so Wake will take it at the 25-yard line. It's going to be a really interesting game. You know, Pat Narduzzi They've had their bumps in the road, but they're sitting at 2-1 in the Coastal Division, which is tied for the lead right now with a Virginia team that's battling North Carolina. Virginia Tech has a bunch of home games coming up, but I don't know if it was just a Paul Johnson, Georgia Tech thing, but Virginia Tech didn't look that great defensively on Thursday night. Louisville saw that earlier this year. Virginia currently leading North Carolina 24-14. Hartman, after a long wait, throws it off the hands of Dortch.
Wow, you don't see that often. Dortch misses a pass here. That ball just went right through his hands. Good strong throw by Sam Hartman.
Hartman, 98 touchdowns in his prep career between Davidson Day and Oceanside Collegiate. His senior year of high school, he took over at Oceanside Collegiate because your former quarterback, Chad Greer, moved from Davidson Day, wanted to follow his coach. That school had gone 0-8 the year before Sam got there, and then it went 7-3 during his senior season.
I give a lot of credit to my man, Chad Greer, developing those quarterbacks. Even his son, Will.
Not bad. There was a time when Sam Hartman thought he might quit high school. He wasn't playing as a freshman. Stayed with it. Now he's starting in a wild one in the Derby City.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, third down.
You don't see that often out of the Wake Forest ball club.
Very, very rare to see that from Phil Haynes, who just turned 23 years old last week, one of Dave Clawson's favorite players he's ever coached. Perhaps not as much after the false start penalty. So 3rd and 7 becomes 3rd and 12. And Louisville will get some ambitious ideas if they can come up with a stop. Wake 7 of 10 on 3rd down today. 7 of 11. Jarrett Jackson got his paw up and swatted it away.
Wow, that's a huge defensive stand by Louisville. Get the ball back into Sharon Pass's hand. He has all the momentum going. Jarrett Jackson knocks that ball down. The big man showing some excitement.
Last time Maggio set up a punt, it was blocked. This time it appears Louisville's trying to set up a return. It's a wobbly kick, and Burns has to let it roll, and it takes an advantageous one for the Demon Deacons. Very busy weekend in the ACC. All 14 teams in action. 4 already played Thursday and Friday, respectively. Georgia Tech poured it on in Blacksburg, and then Boston College on the red bandana night gets the win for Steve Adazio. Clemson cruising in Tallahassee. Virginia trying to hang on in the South's oldest rivalry, Cavaliers and Tar Heels. Duke Pitt, NC State, Syracuse later tonight.
Saw that kid Trevor Lawrence play in high school. This kid is unbelievable.
He's been good. He's been very, very good. Puma pass. Escorted out of bounds after a gain of about 3.
Good coverage downfield. Smart decision by Puma running out of bounds.
When you watched Lawrence in high school, did you think, like, you know, future NFL star?
Well, I knew he was going to be a dynamic college player.
Okay.
He just had that talent. He had good legs. He had good vision downfield. And he was fearless. That's what you liked about him.
Sure. He's taken some licks, but he's got the Tigers roaring today in Tallahassee. On 2nd and 7, pass fires complete to move the chains as the 3rd quarter clock winds down here in Louisville.
2-2 Atwell, the freshman, the playmaker, get the ball in his hands. That is a tough man to cover on the field.
Six catches, 101 yards for Atwell. Low snap and pass. Fortunate to get it back, but he's going to lose 5 or 6 yards on the play.
Wow, you hate to see that.
That is the end of the third quarter. Timeout.
It's like a timeout. Puma has to go look at that coach's face on the sidelines. Wow, 3 quarters, nearly 1,000 yards. We still got 15 more minutes. Don't go anywhere. Wake 56, Louisville 35. ACC All Access, your ticket to what's happening inside the conference. They've dominated the ACC with an impressive run of titles, but will Syracuse's luck run dry at the cross-country championships? That's next week on ACC All Access. Check your local listings on your regional sports network. Second and long, 15 yards needed for the first down, and perhaps more because of this false start penalty that Wake believes Louisville committed.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second out.
So Louisville begins the first play in the third quarter and the first play in the fourth quarter with a pre-snap penalty.
That's right. Offside penalty. Man. Big man.
This is the 4th penalty of the day assessed to Louisville. Wake has been charged with 3, as you see. Mass revving the engines. Pressure coming, gets rid of it. Incomplete, intended for Crum. Well, the Cardinals offense has done a really nice job getting the ball in the hands of their athletes today. Talking about Hassan Hall, Trey Smith, and then Tutu Atwell having his best game of his young career.
Tutu has been terrific and a tough guy to cover if you're Wake Forest defenders. And he has the great speed. You got to respect that. And you see his agility there, turning in the air, making a great catch down the sideline. Look at those numbers. 7 catches, 101 yards.
And a full quarter to go. Pass down the seam. Finds Atwell again. Hangs onto the football through the contact. First down inside the 40.
Mari Henderson, after making the hit, looks like he is injured on the field.
29 yards, and Henderson may have taken a lick from his teammate.
That was Luke Masterson.
Amari Henderson getting looked at on the Wake Forest bench. Last play is also under review. Riley Johnson just announced. Masterson kind of unfortunately targeted his teammate a little bit. Some helmet-to-helmet contact between Masterson and Henderson, the 2 gold helmets.
Well, that's when you close your eyes at the last second and you hit the wrong man. Masterson laid a hit on his teammate Amari, who, by the way, mouth was busted wide open and bleeding.
There's no foul for targeting. First out.
I was about to say, I don't know why they were reviewing that play.
Well, it was a 29-yard pass to Atwell, who's now at 130 yards receiving. Those 130 yards are just a fraction of the 995 combined yards that have been accumulated so far in this game with 14:41 to go.
But if you're Petrino, you got to be happy with what you're seeing out of Jawan Pass.
It's over 300 yards. 23 of 38. And another completion, although there's a flag down. Hassan Hall inside the 20, but will check the marker.
Holding. Offense number 79. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Wow.
Kenny Thomas guilty of the penalty.
That was a well-designed play here. See the right guard there. Just pulling him down. Not sure.
Tyler Williams kind of got around the edge. It was certainly a little tug. Have you seen more than that going called?
I didn't think he grabbed his jersey and dragged him down.
So instead of a gain inside the 20, they're backed up near midfield. First down and 20 for the Cardinals. hit as he throws, incomplete. Tyler Williams, who picked up the holding penalty last time with his pressure, got in on pass quickly.
Good job by using his hands and getting off that offensive lineman. Good uses of hands here. Slapping the hands down and getting around and making a big hit.
Minutes to go. 2nd and 20. Louisville trailing by 21. That pass on the money. Atwell, though, can't shake free of the tackler. Justin Sternad with another stop.
Again, Justin Sternad has had a terrific game.
His 13th tackle. Game high. 2nd and 20 becomes 3rd and 18. Empty backfield. Puma pass. Another flag flies, and that throw's incomplete. Pretty sure I saw Kenny Thomas guilty of the hold again.
There it is. Holding once again.
I think you decline this here.
No question.
Holding. Offense number 79. Penalties decline. 4th down.
If you're Bobby Petrino, you want to go for it, but 4th and 18, your odds aren't good. Well, Louisville offense obviously has struggled this year. Scored 143 points in their first 7 games. Last year they had 145 points in their first 4 games. Been better today, but the defense hasn't matched up. Wake with the ball, up 21 in the 4th.
Welcome back into the Ville. Wake Forest 56, Louisville is 35. And you know, Louisville coming off of that bye week, and everybody enjoyed having that downtime, especially head coach Bobby Petrino. He got to celebrate who he calls Miracle Baby's first birthday, and that's our Toyota tweet of the week. So a year ago, his daughter Kelsey had something called preeclampsia, and they almost lost his daughter Kelsey and her daughter Anissa while she was giving birth. Now, Anissa was born at only 3 pounds the day before Louisville beat Florida State last year, and Petrino was telling us yesterday, you know, they were scared to death because they almost lost both Kelsey and the grandchild. But as you could see in that picture, Nissa was holding up the one for her first birthday, and they had a great birthday celebration. That was at breakfast before that softball game that Evan talked about earlier.
Yeah, thanks, Kelsey. Good timing for the bye week in more ways than one. Unfortunately, the defensive issues have not been solved for the Cardinals. Matt Colburn 6 more yards on the first play of the drive, and here's more than 6 more out across the 30. Colburn, the first 3-touchdown rushing game for the Deeks since Cade Carney's freshman year a couple seasons ago, and Carney had 3 scores against Duke. And look at the time of possession. These drives are just coming fast and furious.
Wow, they are. And Colburn is just having a terrific day, man. Look at his feet. His feet is so quick. It's hard to keep up with him. And he's huge. He's strong. This is one of those historic games for him.
I'll remember this for a very long time.
Yes.
Closing in on his career high. He had 237 yards against Syracuse last year when Wake put up a program record 734 up in the Carrier Dome. By the way, we have gone over 1,000 combined yards in the game. Wake leading Louisville 8 touchdowns to 5. Field goal kickers have been perfect on PATs. Haven't had any other opportunity. This is not a game for field goals.
No, absolutely not. And you got to give it up to this offensive line of Wake Forest. Those big guys continue to pound away.
They've made some big holes, and here's another one. Matt Colburn takes advantage and spins across the 50.
This is, I'm talking about this offensive line. They just continue to get it done up front. Opening holes for Colburn to find, and he's taking advantage of it.
And now you can see Wake slowing it down a little bit, letting some time bleed off the clock. 239 yards. A new career high for Colburn. Add 3 more to it. So if Wake can hang on here, then they're going to be sitting at 4-4 with 4 games left. Syracuse at home next Saturday, noon on your regional sports network. Then a quick turnaround at NC State on Thursday night.
That's going to be a big game.
Wake and NC State played an instant classic last year where looked like the Wolfpack were going in for the game-winning touchdown, fumble at the 1-yard line. Wake able to hang on. That was a huge win for Clausen's team. And then Wake will have Pittsburgh at home. First time they'll play Pitt quite a while. And then the rivalry game at Duke at the end of the year. There was a time with Wake and Duke football where they played at the end of the season and the game was for pride and not much else. Not anymore. That could be a huge game for both the Blue Devils and the Demon Deacons.
Duke is a different team than before. I mean, they've been very consistent the last few years.
You ever spend any time around David Cutcliffe? He seems to be a really well-respected guy and just continues to churn out solid, respected teams.
And believe it or not, I mean, it's tough to recruit at Duke. You got to go get those well-rounded, talented guys, and he's done a tremendous job of bringing in a lot of talent.
Colburn averaging 12 yards per carry, scored 3 times, including a 74-yard run. Best game of his career, and it could not have come at a better time.
Dave Clausen clearly trying to milk the clock a little bit and give his defense a little rest.
It is a 4th down, though. Rare 3rd down stop for the Louisville defense. So the Cardinals get it back with about 8.5 minutes to go, trailing by 3 scores. And Wake with a chance to down this ball, and they will. About an inch away from the goal line is where Louisville will start, trailing by 21. 8:21 to go. This guy is passionate and cold. How about the yellow paint on his beard?
I want to know what his mother is thinking. When she looks at the TV and sees her son out there with no shirt on. Wow.
She's very proud, I'm sure. Louisville starts under the shadow of their own goalposts. I'm not sure I've ever seen a ball down closer to the goal line than this one. Officially a 41-yard punt from Dom Maggio. Pass to throw from his own end zone. Incomplete. Louisville trying to go 99 yards. Meanwhile, Duke and Pittsburgh coming up. 5-2 Blue Devils. Pittsburgh just 3-4, but sitting above the Blue Devils in the Coastal Division standings. Coastal chaos continues at 3:30 on most, if not all, of these stations. Louisville gets some yardage. I heard a rumor that the great Alice Cooper was staying at the same hotel as our crew, and apparently James Bates was very, very excited to get a picture with Alice Cooper.
Is that right?
So Bates might be a little more energetic than usual today at Heinz Field. I love listening to those guys. Wes and Batesy do a great job.
Yeah, Wes is awesome.
3rd down and 1. And that's going to be short.
Yeah, it's going to be short.
Demetrius Kemp has had a really solid game for the Wake defense, too, and they've needed it. And Trey Smith, slow to get up. Louisville's Trey Smith with 13 carries for 98 yards and 3 touchdowns today, but shaken up after this 3rd and 1 play, which was shy of the first down. Willie Yarberry and Demetrius Kemp team up for the stop. And now 4th and 1, trailing by 21 from Louisville's own 10-yard line.
Got to go for it. I know it's a little dangerous, but this is the 4th quarter, 7 minutes left in the game. You got a quarterback that's 6'4", 231. You should have ran a quarterback sneak on 3rd down and get the first down.
Bigger running back Maurice Berkeley is in the game. 5'9", 212. Big receiver 6'6" Devontae Pete is in there as well. I mean, you're down by 21. What does it matter if you lose by 21 or 28 or 35?
Correct.
Louisville, 1 of 3 on 4th down today. And it's Cunningham back in there, and he's close to the marker, and I think he's going to get it. Because he just had to get barely across the 10-yard line. That's how close the ball was to the goal line at the start of the drive. So Cunningham in there converts for the Cardinals.
I mean, I just don't get that. I mean, you got Cunningham in the game. Wake Forest defense knows he's going to run the ball when he's in the game. So just leave Javon in there and do a quarterback sneak. It's easy first down.
Pass has returned. Didn't like his first looks. And just throws it out of bounds. And on the bench, Louisville player shaken up.
Oh, man,
just trying to get some rest.
That's how bad it's going. Whitlow gets drilled by the football.
Boozy Whitlow, redshirt junior.
That sums it up for Louisville right there.
It really does. Wake Forest will leave today with a bowl game in sight. For Louisville, very different story. Barring a miraculous comeback in these next 6.5 minutes, the Cardinals will drop to 2-6 with 4 very difficult games ahead. Clemson, Syracuse, NC State, and Kentucky.
The Wake Forest got to feel good about Amari Henderson back on that field after that hit. Wound up at left cornerback.
Cam Glenn applied the pressure. Pass completes it anyway. Nice catch by Smith.
Concentration by Jalen Smith, being able to hold on to that ball. Amari got there just as the ball did. Tried to slap it out of there, but the strong hands of Jalen Smith holds that ball in. Terrific catch.
We talked at the top of the broadcast about turnovers, and another team has gotten many. The only turnover in the game was the Marcus Riley fumble. Picked up, returned 23 yards for a touchdown by Basham. So Pass has done a better job taking care of the football. And for Wake Forest, they haven't made the mistakes to cost them. Too many of these throws have been a little too tall.
Yeah, just back leg throws, just let the ball float out. He's going to have to find a way to be more consistent and follow through on his passes.
Puma does have a career high in passing yards today, despite the inaccuracy at times. 334 yards in the air. Steps up, sees some green. Kemp and Calhoun cut off the running lane to the 39-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 2.
I think Pass' problem is he holds the ball too long. He doesn't trust his receivers to come out of their breaks. He has to put the ball there out of the breaks and just trust them to make the plays.
Here's a quick throw. Fitzpatrick picks up the first down. Des Fitzpatrick came into today 5 yards shy of 1,000 in his career, and he has surpassed 1,000 yards. Redshirt sophomore. Had about 700 yards last year as a redshirt freshman for the Cardinals. New set of downs. overthrows Fitzpatrick with Bassey defending. 4:44 to play in the fourth. There's been no scoring in the fourth quarter.
Well, just that pass play right there. I mean, St. Bassey, to me, is a terrific cornerback. As a freshman, he got time here at Wake Forest. He's a junior now, but he's, to me, a really, really good, aggressive cornerback. Despite the way the defense has played, he has stepped up.
Big hit on the sidelines. Cameron Glenn. The blast on Hall.
That's where free safety comes up and lays the lick. A little short pass here by Pass. And now Cameron. Wow. A lot of noise right there.
Well-timed legal hit to the midsection by the captain from Stone Mountain, Georgia. 3rd and 8. And there's a completion. Seth Dawkins hauls it in Wake Forest territory. Spun down by Masterson.
Jawan Pass has a little time to throw and wait for his receivers to cut and get open. He's delivering.
Quick snap. Another completion.
Another pass that got away from him, though.
Defensively, you talked earlier about how Wake Forest had to change some things up, add some intricacies to the defense, because last week Florida State figured out what they were doing and picked them apart. Have you seen that from the Wake defense?
I have, especially with a couple of blitzes that they added. We saw Masterson, who had to learn the linebacker spot, blitz earlier. So they had to change it up. They had there's no reason not to. And they've done a pretty good job, even though they've given up 35 points.
Petrino's look says it all, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
Bobby Petrino played for his dad, quarterback at Carroll College in Helena, Montana. Originally from Montana, in his 31st year of collegiate coaching. Pressure, pass escapes the rush of Yarberry and then throws it away.
That's actually a good play by Pass. Instead of taking that blitz, he threw the ball away, which he needs to do more of, as Bobby Petrino said. Don't take the sack and lose a lot of yards. Get rid of the ball.
Saw Dave Cohen initially, and then Dave Clausen. It's been a trying season for the Wake Forest defense and the defensive coaching staff. There's some building blocks today. Get Syracuse next week. That pass thrown into double coverage, incomplete, and Wake will take over on downs.
Good job by Wake, just dropping 8 players back and rushing 3. And Pass had nowhere to throw that ball.
That was a 17-play, 62-yard drive, but no points. Started back inside the 1.
Yeah, it started out really good after getting that 4th and 1. I suspect Wake Forest just milked the ball and hand it off. Cade Carney now at running back.
Hartman's still in the game, but imagine Wake will try to keep him out of harm's way. Carney out to the 42 for a gain of 5.
Number 17, Dorian entering.
Wake Forest trying to get back down to the CPI red zone, where they have been 4 for 4 today, which means 4 of their touchdowns have come outside of the red zone. One was the fumble recovery return for Basham. 3 other big plays. Hartman has 2 touchdowns in the air and 1 on the ground. He's closing in on surpassing John Wolford's total yardage from his freshman year. Carney, another first down to move the chains. college statistics can be hard to gauge these days, especially with a team like Wake and the pace they play. What do the numbers really mean? And then the context of 4 years ago, John Wolford was playing behind a patchwork offensive line as Dave Clawson tried to get his feet under him. Hartman's had a better offensive line, better skill position players. He's had his ups and downs. And the target's going to be on his back to lead this team as a freshman over the next 4 weeks.
Well, I can tell you what, he's getting off to a fantastic start. Despite all the injuries, he's put up some really good numbers. And he continues to put up really good numbers. One thing you can't control is injury. And Dave Clawson and the Wake Forest Demon Deacons have had their course of injuries this year, and not a lot of depth. Just imagine if they had more depth, this team would be much better. So give them a lot of credit. 4-4, and you still have a chance to make it to a bowl game, go 3-1. You got to applaud Dave Clawson if he can do that. 2 of the losses to top 5 teams, Clemson and Notre Dame, had the back and forth shootout with BC, did not go Wake's way. And then the 10-0 lead against Florida State. Seminoles rallied back, scored 38 unanswered. But it's now victory formation for Wake Forest. For the 2nd year in a row, the Demon Deacons will dispatch the Louisville Cardinals in what is certainly sweet revenge after what happened 2 years ago with the Wake Forest radio analyst leaking some plays to the Louisville coaching staff. A black eye for the sport of college football. Dave Clawson knew there was something in the program that was compromised. They've solved it. And Wake's going to be 4-4. Brian Van Gorder's defense. Another tough film room on Sunday or Monday. Not what he expected when he came to Louisville. He said that. I mean, it's just been a tough run on his defensive side.
Wake Forest finishes this game after the kneel down officially with 591 yards. A quick handshake between Clawson and Petrino. And the Demon Deacons will head back home, awaiting the Syracuse Orange. Dino Babers' team, big game tonight against the Wolfpack.